Hey kids, so we're going to cover how to clean your handpan, tongue drum, or any other kind of metal instrument. I usually recommend you do this every 6 to 12 months, although it will depend on how regular and thorough your upkeep and maintenance is. The idea behind this is so that we can start with a fresh coat of protective oil or wax on the bare surface of the instrument. As we apply coat after coat of oil or wax, we can end up trapping in dirt or sweat or moisture in between each of the layers. So by stripping it down, we can have a nice clean instrument, which will help with the longevity of it, as well as a layer that is as thin as possible of oil or wax on the surface of the instrument, which will help maximize the sustain and resonance of your instrument. What you're going to need for this is some isopropyl alcohol. You can use warm soapy water, but I find isopropyl is a lot better. Some sort of a rag. You can also use paper towel, but I prefer reusable rags. It's a little bit better for the environment. Now, if your instrument is particularly dirty, you can use a non-metallic scourer or scrubber and or a flat blade. Now, with using either of these, be super careful because they can end up doing more damage than good on your instrument. Use them very gently and very lightly. Find an inconspicuous spot underneath your instrument so that you can test them out first. Now, if you've got a stubborn, rusty area, I would use the scourer really gently on the rusty spot in a light circular motion. Do this until the rust has loosened, and then using your rag, wipe over to clean the rust off. If possible, it's important to remove any rubber or fabric trim as well, so that we can clean the rim underneath. Now, if you've got a Celestial Sound or any other kind of nitrided instrument with a polished rim, it's a good idea to give it a real close inspection on the rim. The rim is polished down to the raw steel, so it's going to be the most prone and likely the first place that rust will develop. Think of it kind of like a warning system. If the rim starts to rust, then the rest of the instrument's probably not far behind, so you're going to need to up the game of your maintenance regime, whether that means oiling and or cleaning it more often or storing it in a more appropriate place. If you're cleaning a tongue drum, it's important to minimize the amount of moisture that gets in through the slits. We want to keep that cavity as dry as possible. I like to clean one side first, and then clean the other side, and then clean the rim last. This gives me something to grip onto so that I can stabilize the instrument without putting finger oils where I've already cleaned. So let me show you how. I will apply this quite liberally and wipe it until I can see no more streaks. You know it's clean if there's no more discoloration on your rag after wiping. You can see here now the difference between where there was Phoenix oil and now the bare surface of the steel. So I'm going to keep going until I've got the whole surface in this raw, bare color. Okay, so I've done one side, a couple of streaks here or there, it's not going to be a big deal. I'll go ahead and flip it and we'll do the other side. I really like to clean the inside of the goo here because that's a common place to hold the instrument, so then I can oil it afterwards as well. Okay, now I've done the inside, the bottom, the top, noting that the inside is only about a finger's depth around the port. Do not clean anywhere else inside the instrument. That is best to be left untouched. Now I'll go ahead and clean the rim, making sure I'm not touching the instrument anywhere that I've already cleaned so that I'm not applying any new finger oils to it. All right, there we've got a nice clean instrument. As I said, a few streaks won't be the biggest deal as long as we've got the majority of the instrument nice and clean. So here we've got a nice bare instrument ready for a clean coat of protective oil or wax. If you've never played your instrument while it's stripped bare like this, feel free to give it a go. But remember to give it a once over to remove any finger oils that you put on there. Thanks for watching, guys. I have some other tutorial videos, so feel free to peruse those. Otherwise, happy panning.